Okay, Em, over to you.
Okay, Andy, thank you again for, I know Rakesh has already thanked you.
Yeah,
So
no worries.
we'll just dive straight into the questions. So you're a supervisor AT at Offshore Special Projects APAC. Could you just, for the benefit of the recording, just tell us very, very quickly what your role involves?
You mean it's about my role?
Please, yes, just a couple of
Yeah.
sentences overview.
As a special project team, we support our service team, especially focused on the main component exchange, also delayed campaign, also if required, also we support them for implementing the SIM cases and some tasks related to troubleshooting and service. Then as a my position is supervisor after the technician. Then my main duties prefer workplace, like applying the lockout, tagout, then prefer a safe workplace. Then also I will supervise the main component exchange campaign if it's required.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for that, Andy. So on to the second question, which I'll pick up. You have a very interesting background. You have a MSc in electrical engineering. You've had several roles in Mongolia. You're now supporting the offshore service teams in Japan and Taiwan for over a year. You're going to be supporting the onshore team next. What would you say the key differences are in terms of working in Japan and Taiwan rather than Mongolia? What's the differences that you find in practice?
The main difference was, of course, it's offshore, because before I also worked for Vestas onshore team in Mongolia around more than 2 years. Then I moved to offshore. The main difference is offshore. Then all the day-to-day activities is all different, like how we travel, how we come to turbine, then how we get access, and also all the safety procedures called ball standard, also they are all different. So that was the interesting, also kind of challenging part of the offshore. And then also working in other countries outside of my home country is a very good experience for my life as well, because my job give me some opportunity to explore and learn about other cultures. So that's also very nice thing.
So that's
Then yeah,
Mhm. No,
yeah,
go on.
go. Uh, yeah, yeah. Actually, that's it. Then between the countries, of course, there is some cultural difference. But in Westos, we have same the culture, so there is no difficulties to working another company if you are still in the Westos. That's the really great thing of Westos.
Yeah, absolutely. But the Japan team and the Taiwan team and indeed the special projects team are relatively new parts of Vestas. Are you finding the how are you finding the rate at which the new teams are adjusting to the Vestas way?
Mm, okay, could you explain? I couldn't catch the point.
No, that's okay. We'll leave that question. We'll cut that question out. I'm going to ask another question. Can you give me some examples of the differences in the safety procedures, for example, that you talked about that exist in Mongolia and elsewhere in
Mhm,
South Asia? Just one or
mhm,
two examples.
Yeah. For onshore, we followed a lot of procedure, and for offshore, we follow the AWP. The AWP also has a different categories, depends on the task. Then
Hmm.
also the main training, also qualification related to safety is that wind turbine safety rule and electrical network safety rule. These two
Yes.
courses and training was very important. Also, they were new for me when I joined offshore. Then also these two courses is also kind of requirement for the offshore technicians if they want to join the offshore. So these two courses requirements that contains a lot of information related to safety, and also it's global. So if you work in the offshore anywhere around the world, then these two rules is the main thing for everyone to follow and also comply at the workplace.
That's fantastic. So, talking about safety rules, looking at your engagement on Halt, you consume the most content in comparison to all of your peers. 30 sprints in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. That's why we're talking to you.
Thank
How
you.
would you describe Halt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for my understanding, then we use HALT in two different ways. And the first one is, of course, if you challenge something, if you don't know about something, you can search there. Also, another purpose is just for your personal development as a learning. So
Mhm.
I more focused on my learning or personal development. That's why also Halt also has a different platform. Then you can see what the overall content is there. Then if I have the overall idea what's there, then I can use the Halt search function, then find the topic. Then Halt also the important thing is Halt help us to have common language in the industry. If we talk about the project initiation, so also if the teams discussed about that, so we can use the similar STEM abbreviation or something like that. So that's also the kind of important part of Halt.
Yes, it helps develop the same language, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
Emma, I think we can skip 4.
Yes,
Do you agree?
agreed. Yes, Andy automatic has already answered it.
Okay, absolutely. So, and you've also answered part of the next question that I had, Andy, which is what is your main goal? Your main goal was clearly to develop yourself personally. But when looking at your usage profile, it appeared as though most of your content searches and the content you consumed were in the initiation and planning phases of the APAC stage gate model, at least the special project stage gate model. Did you find that by consuming content in the initiation and planning phases, did it actually help you with the execution phase at all in practice or not?
Yes, that was very useful. And also, that's the reason why I started that point, because the project initiation and planning is very important part. All the following the stages are very dependent on the initiation and planning. Yeah. So the content also was good. Then I also learned a lot of things there. Also, it also gave me idea which area I need to explore in the future. Of course, Halt cannot contain all the topics there, but it gave me the idea what kind of topic I need to learn in the future more in detail. That's also another good thing.
Fantastic. Do you have any examples of applying any of the lessons that you've learned in the execution phases that come to mind, or has it been purely you've purely used it to enrich your understanding?
Yeah, it's a quite difficult to answer now because yeah. So maybe I need to recap a little bit, then I can
To
answer.
think about
But
it.
sorry,
Okay,
it's quite difficult.
that's okay. That's okay. Um, So one of the very interesting and exciting things that has happened as a result of all of the unresolved searches where there isn't content is managers work together with teams on monthly halt huddles. Did you find that those halt huddles have any impact on the team at all?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, also, some of our colleagues raised the topic
Hmm.
when they experience it when they search in the halt. Then also your team working on there, they include that topic in the halt. Then also we have some internal the meeting among our team. Then also we discussed and shared about halt and its content, what kind of content we would like to add there. Then also get some feedback from our managers. Also we provide feedback for them as well.
Okay. And did you find that it had driven any improvements or any changes or any practical implications for the work that you do, or has it been purely about learning?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Also, lastly, I don't know when it added, but lastly there is a five and six topics related to safety. It was lastly added there. That also very useful. It's very engaged to our day-to-day activities. For example, hydraulic and electrical dangers. So it's also very useful for us. And yeah, of course, we implement that in our workplace every day.
Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. Excellent. Em, over to you.
Yes,
And
and from looking at the data, you seem to enjoy the sprints on contract strategies, value of a construction safety plan, dropped objects, and offshore transfer. How have these helped you practically? And apologies, I know this is a difficult question to put you on the spot, but any examples that you could give would be amazing.
Mhm. Okay, the one of them is offshore transfer. Yeah, it's also give us idea to how we prevent any uncertain situation. Then also if we have proper the transfer plan, then also if we follow that plan, then so we can reach out to find and back to shore safely. Yeah, something like that. Then also, construction safety plan was very interesting because this safety plan helped us to prevent a more higher the cost, the consequence. So, but currently also the some content is depends on the people. For example, currently I working in the service and not in the construction. But if there's someone work on the construction, then construction safety plan is very useful. If it's, this content is exactly match his current job or task. So, but it's also better to know that because in the future we will engage different projects. So then I expected to implement my knowledge in the future as well.
Do you know, Andy, that is such helpful feedback. It's really helpful feedback because even major projects work that you're doing or MCE work here in the UK, we have a tendency to refer to that as construction work. So even if you're doing large scale maintenance, it's considered to be construction. So therefore, there's often a construction safety plan that is used for MCE. But that's quite interesting. Just the difference in terminologies can create a little bit of confusion. But the content, if you take the title away, should really be applicable to MCE type work as
Yeah,
well. And
exactly.
is that what you
Yeah.
found?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So interestingly, seeing that you've used Halt for developing yourself personally, you've obviously had other forms of training with investors over the years that you have spent there. How does Halt compare with the other ways of training?
Mhm. Mm, I can say Halt can cover all the stages of the projects. That's the main important thing. Then some of the training is covered only, for example, the planning. Or then if we see the Halt, because Halt is very structured. from the initiation, then also completion, then everything is there, then all content is kind of structured. So that's also the whole different team. Also, it's very useful for us. If we come to halt, then we have overall idea. If we work on any project, what kind of stage is there, then if we come to one of the stages, what kind of the content or subject we have to focus, we have to prefer. So that's the a good team, because it can cover all the stages and informations. And of course, we have to improve, then we can add what we need in the future.
Okay. Just noticed we might run a few minutes over. Is that okay with you, Andy? Maybe about 5 minutes or so. Is that all right?
That's fine.
Is that okay with you?
That's fine, yes.
Okay. So the last question from me, Emma has a few more. So when, again, looking at the data, we noticed that you were searching most when you were working on punch lists.
Mm-hmm.
Did any of the content, or indeed the halt huddles that might have taken place, if there was no content available, did that actually help with any problem solving during working through punch lists?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah. Currently, my team working on the punch list, effect list closure at the Japan project, and that's why I use that search function.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think even I use different ones, but the content is same, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's absolutely the same. The content
Yeah.
is not intended to be,
Mm-hmm.
and the content is not, as you know, the content is not procedure. The
Yeah.
procedures are vestices, procedures that you would use.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Mm-hmm.
content is to give you an understanding of whether the procedure fits the problem you want to solve.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
don't blindly use the procedure. You make sure that you question whether the procedure is the right procedure for any given situation. So that's why the same content is delivered, but it actually gives us an understanding of what it is that you're focusing on, what is it that you're actually doing when you, or what work activity you're doing when you're actually searching. And then when we go back to Truls, for example, we could say to him, well, the most usage was around punch lists. So therefore, are your procedures sufficient or mature enough to support the punch list activity? So I understand why the punch list numbers are high, but did it actually help you to solve any problems when you were working through the punch lists? I know there was, so for example, say emergency response, because there were some questions around emergency response. There was a client service team interface, and but I don't necessarily want to give too much away. Has Holtz helped you with problem solving at all during punch list activity?
I cannot mention that some specific point, but yeah,
Okay.
somehow it helped. Yeah, I'm sure. As
Okay.
you mentioned, yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Andy. Those are all the questions from me. I'm not going to be asking any more searching questions, but Emma will. She's got two more.
Only a couple, Andy. But you know, your feedback has been very insightful and will add a lot of value into further development or future development of the tool. And so we were hoping to take this one step further and ask you directly if you had any recommendations for improving Halt.
Okay. The first thing I observed that Halt is available only during the weekdays, right? Not during the weekend.
It's
Or
available
it's
all the
changed
time. It's
all the time.
available. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Maybe it's changed recently, or because I experienced it last time that when I tried to search. Of course, mostly the offshore technicians work as a rotation, so
That's
then
correct.
also we cannot use Halt every time if we face. So sometimes if we have some spare time, then also we try to search and use halt, but that one happened maybe 2-3 weeks ago. Then when I tried to search something in halt it was Saturday, but halt gave me the feedback like the server is not available or something like that.
That's
Anyway,
correct.
that's why
Yes.
I understand halt doesn't work during the weekend.
So 3 weeks ago, there was a major upgrade to Halt, the entire infrastructure. Halida would have sent an email around saying that Halt is currently being maintained. So it so happened that, and I think she sent it to the Japan team, and you were not in that list. So I think you tried to use it coincidentally on the weekend that we had an outage. But yes, you'll find that it is available all the time.
Okay, that's great. Another thing is, if possible, but maybe it depends on the halt purpose. So, if possible, if we add some technical contents there, then that would be great especially for newcomers. So most of the topics covers the kind related to management or some planning, like that. But there is not like nothing for the technical part, like. But maybe I think it's also very difficult, of course. But if we can try, that would be great for the people.
Well, you may have noticed that when you do some searches, sometimes you find Vestas links coming up, don't you? And the link takes you back into SharePoint at Vestas. So that process is happening very, very slowly, but you are absolutely right. It needs to be accelerated. I know that I know that Mark's team is growing. So one of the functions of Mark's team is actually going to be increasing the amount of technical links in Hold. So spot on. No, well spotted.
Yeah, good to know. Yeah, that sounds very useful for us in the future. So thank you.
Great. And I suppose an extension to that question would be, which aspects or functions of Halt would you very much like to stay the same for future generations of the tool?
Sorry, could you repeat?
Yes, which functions of Halt would you like to stay the same? Do you think that are good as they are, so we shouldn't change them or revise them for future generations?
Current search function using the Teams. Yeah, I think it's very useful, also handy, because always we bring the phone, then the Teams is there. Then if we would like to know something, then we can search. Then that's the very useful function. Also, it then the Halt become more handy.
Fantastic.
Can I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And is there anything else that you want to say? Are there any points you want to mention that we haven't covered that you think is important for us to know? Because we're not only looking for the positives, we're also looking, as Emma has said, we're also looking for ways of developing it and making it better and making it more integrated with the team and the team's operations. And that means we are having to learn a lot about what the team is doing. And when it's a new team, even the team itself is learning. So it's quite a process. But are there any other comments you'd like to make that didn't come up in the questions we've asked?
Mostly when we searched there's something in Halt, we use the keywords, right?
That's correct.
If we don't know about the content, so it's very difficult to extract the topic you want to learn or you want to find. So that is sometimes that's the kind of difficulties. But in my way, I just check the whole content, then check the subject. Then I will use in the search. Sometimes it helps, but maybe if we can some improvement, we can focus on that way.
On the keywords, no, absolutely.
Keywords.
No, I think you're
Especially
absolutely.
it's difficult for someone who just started the Halt because they don't have no idea what's there, what's inside the hold, and what's the contents. So
Okay, no, that's really, really helpful. One of the last update we ran was a keyword update. So it should be a little better now, but I agree with what you're saying in terms of the keyword searches. In the next version, in the next big version we'll be releasing, we'll have it's natural language processing. So like Google, you'll have the words popping up to help you decide what it is that you want to find.
yeah,
But
that sounds
that's
great.
yeah, not immediately. That's going to take a bit of time to get to,
Yeah,
but
of course.
and there's different languages as well, remember, so it's available in Japanese. Do you think that this might be useful for the onshore team when you go into onshore?
Yeah, I also think that was my actually that was my question. Yeah, because yeah, is there any plan to implement a halt into onshore? Then that's the question from me.
Is Michael
Actually,
still your boss?
hmm
And Michael Cameron will be your boss on onshore, wouldn't he? Is that right?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
many managers there, so
yes, so I know that Michael Cameron, the last time I met him in Vietnam, he's actually he was the head of Vestas Onshore for APAC, and he was beginning to look at Halt, and he became very distracted, and he tried to and he didn't actually follow up on it. So if you do have an opportunity to speak with Michael, he will be aware of it. So by all means, talk to him about your experience, and I'm sure that we could continue conversations with him and put that back on his agenda. I know that he was very keen when we originally started talking.
yeah, I think
Okay.
it's also useful for onshore. Then also for me, now I'm moving back to onshore, but still there is many topics I haven't learned yet. So yeah,
Absolutely. Okay. Well, no, that's great. Listen, keep in touch. Your email address is going to be the same, presumably. It's not
yeah,
going to change.
exactly.
So please keep in touch and let us know how you get on. In the meantime, we're going to send you a Halt branded top, if you don't mind. If you could kindly send me an email with your size. It's either small, medium, or large. I reckon you're probably about a medium, but I'm not sure. And your address to post it to, or
Okay,
courier
thank
it
you.
to, and we'll whiz it off to you soon. I don't know how long it will take to get to you, but please let us know when you've received it, and feel free to engage with us on social with some photographs and stuff like that. That would be really cool.
Okay, of course. Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much for your time, and
Yeah,
your answers have been really insightful. Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Thank you for staying longer
Yeah,
than anticipated. Cheerio.
Have a great day. Bye.
yeah. Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye, Andy.